Good evening, MULN family. Here's an update on everything you need to know about MULN before going into Tuesday. I'm going to do some technical analysis on the daily, the weekly, and the one-year chart. Actually, it's in that reverse order, starting with the one-year chart because it's bullish. Then I'm going to give you the Ortex update and a list of catalysts that we have coming to look forward to, guys. I think we're going to see a huge week ahead. Again, nothing I say is financial advice, so please do your own DD, but you need to know all of this going into Tuesday. Please like and subscribe and come back for more. I want to start off by doing some technical analysis and showing you MULN on the one-year chart. This green line here is the 13 simple moving average. The purple is the 48 simple moving average. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I love to use the 1348 crossover when trading. Anything that I post on Twitter is on the 5-minute chart, so it's technically for day trading when I'm calling out plays. However, when you want to take a look at a play and see what the long-term indicators are, the one-year chart is where you're going to see the biggest moves. And MULN family, have I got news for you. We are at a very critical point in this chart. So as you can see here, this is my 13. And if you look, we are just touching, about to cross over that purple line, which is the 48 SMA, like I said before. When this 1348 crosses over on the one-year chart, it is extremely bullish and it tends to lead to a huge move up. And as long as we get volume, that's very key here, and we make that cross on Tuesday, guys, I expect to see something massive come out of it. Doesn't mean that it's, all of a sudden going to go to $1 to $4 on Tuesday or, on Wednesday or whatever, but definitely we're going to start moving up. When back in Red Box, when this 1348 crossed over, it was between like the $2 range, and you've seen what that's done. So I think MULN is going to have a pretty substantial move coming up based on the indicators. And I'm going to also show you the 4-hour chart as well as the daily, because just the stars seem to be aligning on this, and the volatility is picking up. The short exempts are getting high. Guys, this is ready. We are ready to make a nice bullish move, and I'm ecstatic looking at this. So let me show you the 4-hour real quick. Okay, guys, so this is the 4-hour chart. As you can see, back on March 10th, we had a 1348 crossover, and that's where we had that run start up to the $4 and change mark. What was it, like $4.23 or something off the top of my head? But this is why I'm showing you the 4 hours, because I want you to see that this cross is when we got that last big run. And then as you can see, again on the 4-hour chart, by the way, when the 13 crosses over the 48, when a lower moving average crosses above a higher, it's considered a golden cross. And then when a lower moving average, i.e. the 13 in this chart, moves below the 48, that's considered a death cross because it's going to go down generally. Now, sometimes you'll see plays where, it makes closer death crosses like this or golden crosses. When they're little tiny movements, they don't tend to bring as big of a move. So it's not always like a bullish or bearish indicator, but and it tends to be more so on the daily chart that you're going to get a more critical move, like I had stated previously. But I'm just showing you this so you know how, important a crossover can be and the type of move that comes with it. Because like I said, I'm very bullish on the move that MULN's going to have this week. And as you can see, we crossed above, and then back on approximately April 14th, we made that cross below. And guys, we've just kind of been channeling. We got down to these lows, back down around $1 again. And then we crossed above it over here on give or take, probably about June 5th. And we really haven't moved much. Like, we had a little bit of volatility, came back down. We're still above technically, like kind of hugging it. So since we're going to make the cross on Tuesday, from the way it appears, maybe a tiny dip, they try to take us down a little bit and then curl back up and rip. Or guys, we could just start ripping first thing Tuesday morning, because we're essentially hugging this. If I highlight this, you can see, try to highlight the green line again. It's kind of hard to get to touch, but see here? We're essentially just touching this. So this is extremely, extremely bullish. Again, on the 4-hour chart, and I'm just going to quickly show you the daily. Again, the moves on the daily are more day trade type patterns. You will see ups and downs, but you'll see them more frequently. Whereas in the 4-hour and the daily, they're not as frequent, the daily especially. So guys, we're treading into a very bullish pattern. So just show you. Okay, so here we have the 5-minute chart. As you can see, the crosses happen more frequently, which is why you hear me calling them out throughout the day. So there's multiple crosses that occur. So if you were day trading this chart, which I'm not saying I recommend day trading MULN, but for those that are or that want to learn about the 1348 and trading it on any ticker, essentially, when the 13 crosses above the 48, it's your buy signal, and when it crosses below, it's the sell signal. So you can see what's happened over the last 2 trading days by looking at this chart here. You have several crosses both up and down. But most importantly is, where do we end the day on Friday? And as you can see, we made a cross below at about, well, actually, if you go back to the start of the day in pre-market, you got the cross above, came down, you got a cross just below and right back above. And guys, it kind of did this, pattern where it's just kept coming and bouncing off of the 48, which is actually great. I mean, this is building up a really bullish uptrend because it's not crossing back over at this point. It keeps going up, right? So we get up to here at about 2 o'clock, starts coming down, and we got a dip below a little after 2. But again, guys, it quickly came right back up, and you get that cross back up out in the after hours, just kind of stayed channeling here. Then we got a cross above, got a little bit play up to $1.36, came back down, and we crossed just below. So like I said, this is indicating it too. We might have a slight dip first thing Monday morning, but this line could also come right up, and it could just curl up and rip. So it's really hard to say, but I expect Tuesday is going to be a very bullish day overall chart-wise. So moving on to other things that I see. Give me just a minute so I can pull it up and we can discuss the Ortex on MULN. Okay, guys, this is including Friday, the update from Friday's short interest. But here we're looking at the Ortex data. As you can see on Friday, the shorts continued to short. We had a 1.75% increase in short interest for a total current short interest of 10.89% of the free float. The 46.51 million shares is the current number of shares that are shorted or reported shorted according to Ortex. And you'll see that the cost to borrow average currently is 14.85% with a low of 10.49 and a max of 15.91. So we're kind of going up a little bit because I think last week, earlier in the week when I was looking at it, we were around 9 or 10%. But this is very bullish as well. The short interest is going up, and this stock is definitely ready for a nice leg up. Okay, guys, what I want to leave you with today is just some information in regards to the bullish catalyst that we have coming up for MULN, ticker MULN. This comes from RMTT on Twitter. He says that my opinions in a brief timeline, research for yourself, not financial advice. See company newsroom for up-to-date information. Just the last few months of Catalyst. The end of June will be very interesting. If any one of these interests you, he has information dedicated to it on StockTwits with threads and links. So we know that at the end of June, we're going to have the Russell Index inclusion. So guys, just a little brief update on that. The Russell 3000 is where we're being added, and it tends to be an extremely volatile week, the week before the addition. So especially on that Friday before, because as of open on the following Monday, so the last Monday in June, MULN will be added to the Russell 3000. And this week we should see a lot of volatility in that. So that's a huge catalyst coming in our favor. So then we also have the CEO, David Mitchell, confirming that the Fortune 500 company news is on schedule to be released by the end of Q2 in June. Guys, there's only 8 more days, so this should be coming. Let's see. So the Fortune 500 company has already been testing the EV cargo van since May, which I think we're all aware of. And then remember, we got the battery results from the BIC came back better than expected with a 600 plus mile range, and they plan to license out this technology. So we may be getting news on who they're going to license it to, right? That's another huge catalyst we could be getting. And they also said that they have some pretty big OEM CEOs asking about the battery technology after the BIC testing results. So guys, if you're in MULN for anything, I mean, there's many, like maybe probably 50 reasons I can list of why MULN could be, you know, a huge ticker in the EV field. Not just for the EVs, but I am more bullish on the batteries than anything else, to be perfectly honest. I think this battery technology could separate it out from the rest. I mean, if they're really getting 600 miles when they add this to a vehicle, can you imagine? I mean, that's better than the Teslas. So bullish. Anyways, CEO says that actions speak louder than words when asking about Hindenburg's false claims. So guys, he's kind of taking like the approach where he's not going to stoop to their level and try to go on the defense. He's just going to show them, you know, like he said, actions speak louder than words. Let me prove it. He went and he did the battery test. He proved it, you know. He's following what he said. You know, now we have the Fortune 500 company news that's supposed to be coming out by the end of the month. So let's see what we get. Institutions increased their positions by 6-fold starting in May, even after the short report, and continuing with the law firm FUD attempts. Those articles that you see published all the time in the news, like I keep trying to tell you guys, please don't fall for the FUD. This is how they're trying to get you to sell your shares. These, if you notice, these heavily shorted stocks have a million of these lawsuits popping up all the time, guys. They're just meant to scare you guys away. That's just the bottom line, in my opinion. You know, it's crazy, but that's how it works. So then they announced the start of development of the vehicle battery packs. EVgo, a billion-dollar charging company, has expressed interest in a partnership with MULN. They hired a ton of key positions, people from big names such as Tesla, Fisker, BMW, etc., with solid reputations to uphold. The company CEO announced the upcoming deal with a large Fortune 500 company in March interview, which, again, we're going to be getting by the end of the month. Announces testing of the battery with BIC news to come by the end of May. Check. Did that. Brings battery development in-house in Monrovia, California. Multi-city tour coming with the DOE representative attending. Guys, that's going to be super exciting. I can't wait. If they come to Boston, I am going. They featured in over 40 major publications. CarBuzz states that they can be a Rivian Lucid competitor. Hot Cars rates them number 2 in top 10 EV plays of 2022. $450 million government incentive loan applied for and in the process is being guided by a DOT representative. Como, who's part of the Stellantis group, partners with MULN, one of many, Hoffer, ARRK, DUR, DSA, etc. William Cork, the Chief Economic Development Officer for the Mississippi Development Authority, visited the pilot-approved facility and posted on LinkedIn. Their SUV wins an award at the LA Auto Show. I'm sure you guys all saw that posted. I think that was a couple months ago. MULN share structures of the last filing. 500 million shares available, 427 million shares out. Filing information is weeks old. Volume has been up and retail has been buying heavily, so I assume we own a lot more of the float by now. Article in May stated that MULN was the 4th largest ticker owned by retail. I'm sure it's ranked higher by now. I haven't checked the data recently, guys, so I'll have to get back to you to confirm if that's correct or not. Dilution is over and retail owns most of the float. I would agree. I think this float is heavily owned by retail. They're going to keep trying to dilute it, I'm sure, because they're going to need money to develop this battery pack. But we'll see. I mean, if it's for a good reason, then it's a startup company, guys. We have to expect that there's going to be some dilution. It's just how it works, unfortunately, for stockholders in the short term. But let's look at the big picture. Market makers need shares of the ticker because it's been heavily shorted for months. There's a large amount of outstanding failure to delivers and a large option chain. That and inclusion into the Russell Index is why we see the company having an upcoming vote on increasing the SS. This presents a unique situation that actually places MULN in a very strong position for a squeeze until the vote. They can only acquire shares that are sold by retail, and most know how this goes. If retail holds strong, we can essentially set the price as they can't manipulate it without having a certain amount of shares in their possession. And the FTDs are rising, guys, so there is potential that we could see another nice run, and I definitely think that it's going to start off this week. Hope this video was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe so that you can see when I post more stuff about MULN. All right, guys, have a great night. Happy Father's Day to all the